Hi, everyone. Welcome to the USU podcast. This is Julie Riesler. I am your host, and I am so very excited about our very special guest today. I want to tell you all about Abigail. Abigail Perez is a 10-year-old girl with a big heart and a creative imagination, and now is the author of How to Be a Super Kid. That's right, a 10-year-old author who you're going to get to meet. She's amazing. She lives in Texas with her parents, Philip and Elizabeth, and her two younger siblings, Cameron and Ellie. Together, their family name spells peace. I love that. She believes superheroes are not fantasy characters because inside each person is a superhero waiting to be ignited. As someone who has been personally impacted by bullying at a young age, her mission is to put an end to bullying by being a voice of hope and encouraging others to discover their innate super kid powers. Abigail is very active and involved in her community. She loves playing the piano, the great outdoors, rock climbing, rollerblading, and acting, as well as jiu-jitsu and tennis. She loves creating ways to support her two favorite foundations, the House of Shine and the Front Row Foundation, which we have featured here on this podcast. So to give you a quick overview, How to Be a Super Kid is an inspiring book that offers tangible ways to help kids and adults to develop grit, a positive growth mindset, and healthy habits. This book is written by a kid for any kid who has ever dreamt of becoming a superhero and being the best person they were created to be. And I will tell you, it is for adults as well. I don't want to give it all away because I want Abigail to tell you about the book herself. But it is such a pleasure to have you, Abigail. I'm so inspired by you at all of 10 years old as of yesterday. So 10 years old, 24 hours ago. And the fact that you wrote this book, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
So good to have you. And so great to have your mom, Elizabeth, who's with us today too. We're doing this video and audio. Elizabeth, thank you for being here and just sharing, because I have a lot of questions for you both.
Well, we're excited. It's our pleasure to be here. Thanks for hosting us.
Absolutely. All right, Abigail, I just want to dive right in with you. I mean, to have written a book at this point in your life, like some people want to write books, they go, into the majority of their life and they don't do it. What was the motivation? Like, what made you say, you know what, I want to write a book?
Well, I really love to write. It's been my thing since I was really young. I used to just write books on paper I would just write on paper and then tape them together. And at one time, my mom bought me little blank books that I could write. And I've always really loved to write. And one day when I was in third grade, that was last year, and I was at school showing one of my handwritten books to all my classmates and friends. And I told them that I'm going to publish a book one day. Or maybe I could just publish this book. And they said, I can't publish the book. They were like, you can't publish a book. You're only 9 years old. But now I'm 10, so that was a year ago. Yeah. And I wanted to show them that I could write a book, even though I'm just 10 years old right now. So that's when I asked my mom if I could write a real book. So we came up with the little rhymes that are inside How to Be a Super Kid. Well, that wasn't the first draft. We had 24 drafts. So when we got to that point when I wanted to write How to Be a Super Kid, I made up these little poems. My mom would look up rhyming words on her phone, and we came up with little poems in the book, so that can help kids. And that's what my book is about, How to Be a Super Kid. And there's little rhymes in it that you can memorize to help you be the super kid that you are created to be.
Wow. First of all, incredible, so inspiring. I think you said 24 drafts. I want to come back to that. That takes a lot of, as you said, grit and perseverance and determination to do that. Can you say a little bit? I know that it sounds like you experienced at one point in your life either bullying or something that happened that made you really feel kind of not like the kids were not as kind, or tell a little bit about that, and then what made you decide to write this book?
Well, some sometimes I get bullied, and once there was someone that was mean to me. Like, we were playing tag, and then they got mad at me because my other friends, well, it's a long story. I made something out of sand. I made a tower of sand, and then I went to play tag. And then some other friends from that group of people playing tag with me showed me that someone stomped on that little tower of sand that I made. And then I went over to look at it because I worked hard on it. I mean, it wasn't my biggest concern. I just really liked it because it was like a cool shape. And then they showed me that someone stomped on it. And then I went over back to play with the people playing tag, and I was it, but they were mad at me because I had only been gone for 5 minutes to look at that little tower that I made that they stomped on. And I was like really mad at them, and I wanted to fight back, but there's a poem in my book. I don't want to give it away, but it says not to be mean to a bully if a bully is mean to you. There's a little rhyme with it, but I'm not going to give it away. So if a bully is mean to you, then it says not to act the same. It says to respond in kindness. So I was not mean to the bully back. I just didn't really do anything back. I didn't say anything mean back. I was just nice to the bully. Like,
wow. That is a lesson for those listening. That is not just for children. That is for all of us, because people can say things, that are not kind. And this continues, unfortunately. And I believe that, those that are hurting like to hurt others. And so for you to act that way in a kind way, kudos to you, Abigail. That takes something to do that.
Thank
Can
you.
Say a little bit? I know that your book teaches principles. I believe there are 12 of them. You don't have to go to all 12, but it sounds like kindness is one of them. Whatever you would like to share, I would love to share with the audience, because this is such a great book. It really is for children and adults. Like, I got so much just from, it's a good reminder for all of us.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so there are some things that super kids have to do to be super kids. There are super kid traits. It spells out super kid, and the S in super kid is self-control. The U in super kid is unique. The P in super kid is problem solver. The E in super kid is empathetic. The R in super kid is respectful. The K in the super kid is kind. The I is imaginative, and the D in super kid is determined. So they should have all these.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, show that. That's so great. And you could lift it up just a tiny bit. Cool. And then can you show the cover too? That's awesome. I love that. I love those pictures. Beautiful.
Yay!
Yeah, how to be super kid. Awesome. So to you, I love the acronym. And it's funny, one of the things I talk a lot about is being your Uest you, which to me reminds me of the you, like unique, being that you that no one else can be. Kind of fits into that.
Yeah, you should just be yourself and not think about what other people say. So like when I said, I'm going to publish a book, and that other kid said, you can't publish a book, you're only 9.
Yeah.
I wanted to show them that I really loved writing, and I could write a book even though I was just 9, and now I'm 10. So I started to come up with all the drafts and stuff. Yeah. So you should just be unique and write about what you love. I love superheroes. It's my favorite thing. And all of the other books that I've written that are handmade, there's always someone who saves the day. There's always a superhero in it. They're not all necessarily superheroes, but there's always someone who saves the day, or there's always like a good guy fighting the bad guys, or someone doing one of the super kid traits, and all of those. I didn't even know about the super kid traits, but there was a book where there was a bully that was mean to, it was a pony, and the pony was mean to the other pony, but the pony responded in kindness, and then they became friends. That's one of the stories.
Awesome. Well, what I love about the saving the day, what I'm getting even from the acronym with Super Kid, it's the idea is that you're the person, you as the super kid or even the super adult, like you can save the day within yourself. By you choosing kindness and acting in that way to the bully, you saved your own day. That's huge. Talk about the 24 drafts. I mean, I know D is determined. So to me, you're already a super kid because you just, all those letters, plus the fact that you're on a podcast talking about your book at age 10. To me, that's super kid territory. But you know, that's determination. How long did it take you to write this book, Abigail? Talk about the 24 drafts. Like that takes a lot of,
that was a long time. There were so many walls that I hit. It was so hard. I even had to start over a few times. It all started with a book called Super A. It was about a girl, and I drew her, and she looked like me, so I wanted to be Super A. And then I had a friend named Alice, and the bullies would bully Alice because she had brown hair. I was 8. I was 8 when I wrote that, and well, maybe I was 9. Maybe I just turned 9. Yeah. So anyway, it was about me, Super A, and I saved Alice. I stood up to the bullies, and that was the handwritten book, and I decided to write a real book, so I would come up with stories, and I would change it a little bit, and then I wanted to make it funny, so I was like, how am I going to make it funny? And then I decided to put in funny parts, like maybe the bully slips in mud and falls down, and maybe something like that. And then I realized that this is not going to work because I want this superhero book to be, I wanted the superhero book to be for kids of all ages, all kinds of kids, or maybe even grown-ups, because my mom says that some of her friends want to read it and they're grown-ups. So also, then after I did that, I had a bunch of drafts for that. Then I said, I want to do something else, because a bullying the color of someone's hair does not happen often.
Yeah.
But when I thought about it, I used to get bullied at school for the food I eat. You know, there's a little rhyme in my book that says about eating healthy. I'm not going to tell the rhyme either. So
we don't want to give it away, but highly recommend you get the book so you can listen.
Yeah, so anyway, that rhyme, it shows about eating healthy, and I would bring stuff to school that's healthy, and when some of the kids in my class would say, why do you like vegetables? Vegetables are gross. I don't like vegetables at all. I would much prefer something else other than vegetables. So I would bring vegetables to school because vegetables are good for you, and that's what a super kid does. They eat healthy.
Love it.
So I started writing a book about that. It was still Super A, but
tell her at what point you changed from having it be Super A versus Super Kids.
Oh yeah, I still had it Super A, but after only one draft, I decided to change it up a little bit. Yeah. So I changed it up to me and a boy. So I drew a picture of a girl and a boy, and that was me, and then I drew a picture of another boy, and they both got bullied at school. because of what they ate. And then they were super kids because they were nice in return. Well, before I came up with that, I came up with super kids, and before I came up with the girl and the boy, I just had a girl, and she was always bullied at lunch, and then I just stopped working on that, and I added a boy, and then they were both bullied at lunch, and then they met each other one day, and they figured out that they both had been bullied at school for eating healthy, so they decided to work together to show the world how to be healthy and to eat well.
Wow.
And that was called the Super Kids.
Ah, okay. Wow, I love that you just kept at it. Like, I'm thinking for those listening, a lot of people that are listening have said, I've gotten conversations going around wanting to write a book. And what I'm hearing from you, Abigail, is like, this didn't just happen overnight. You had different drafts, you had different ideas, different titles, and then it shifted and you were willing to keep at it.
Yeah, it was really hard for me to keep going. Sometimes there was, I think there were a few points, how many was like 2 or 3 points where I got stuck and I was like, I don't know what to write. What am I going to do?
Yeah, you felt stuck. You talked about writer's block.
Yeah.
Hit a wall, I think you said.
Can't give up. You have to stick with it. You have to be determined. And you can't give up. You just have to be you and do what a super kid would do. A super kid would not give up. There's a rhyme in there that says, when you fail, just don't give up. Keep trying.
Oh, I love it.
It's good to do that.
So I want to ask your mom a question, because I know this is is a family, becomes a family project, I would imagine, at some point. I think you guys are it's awesome, and you're such an inspiration, Abigail, and Elizabeth, you too, like, as a mom, and those listening that are parents, so your child wants to write a book. I know you have 2 other children, 24 drafts. Like, talk about what that was like on your end, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but how supporting that dream and what that's been like. Because I know even from doing books on my end, it's a lot. It's a big project.
Yeah. So like Abigail said, she told me when she was 4 that she wanted to be a published author and illustrator. And that wasn't really my arena. And so I was just excited to hear that, because Abigail would spend hours literally getting sheets of paper or any notebook and just write stories. And that was her way of expressing herself. And her illustrations would be very expressive. And so as a mom, I gave up my career. I worked at Duke University for pretty much my entire career for 13 years. And I gave that up when I moved to Dallas, and had decided that I wanted to focus my energy and time on my family and my kids. And so that meant that was my number 1 priority. And so what I thought was important as a parent was really zoning into what it is your children, what is unique about them, as you said, to be uniquely you, and give them the creative space to become that, which means some downtime. And it means zoning in, tuning into their frequency and understanding which direction they're headed. And with 3 kids, my 3 kids are all very different. But Abigail was always one who loved to write and loved to illustrate. And so, like I said, as a parent, I felt it to be my job, even though that wasn't my area of expertise, was to give her an environment that allowed her to do that. So I had no idea what or how that was going to happen. But then recently, Abigail we were invited to an event where she could meet Margot Manhattan, who is actually a jewelry designer in New York, but she published a book earlier this year, and she was here in Dallas. And there was a lady by the name of Claudia Beanie who founded the House of Shine, And we didn't know much about the organization, but she invited us to come to her house where she hosted this author. And because I knew Abigail wanted to be an author, we went, and at that point, it really took off for Abigail. Like, she realized, she told Margot, she walked in there with 3 of her books that she hand wrote and said, these are my books. I want to be a published author. And so she literally spent an hour engaging with Margot and a couple of other older people at the event. And she came up with a goal that she was going to publish and have it ready by December 1st. And so that was she had an end goal in mind. And from that point, she continued to work on it until she finally came to the realization that she wanted her book not to be about an individual, like she wrote about Super A, but to be for all individuals. And so that's how she came up with How to Be a Super Kid. And so I was literally learning as we went and trying to navigate the waters of what that looks like. And so for as much as it was new for her, it was new for me. But I felt like it was a privilege. And, if anything, it has been such a great learning experience, because how many parents go out there and will pay thousands of dollars to send their kids to camp to learn something that may be special? And I would say these last couple months, she is learning she's experiencing what it means to be resilient. What she wrote about when she talks about grit, she can only write about it because she understands it. Yeah. And when she talks about breakthrough, that's writer's block, right? When you just can't quite think of what else to do and you want to give up, you have to keep moving forward. So there's this saying that goes that, if you're swimming out in the lake and you keep going as far as you can, and then you get tired and you turn around and swim back when you only had a couple of feet to the other end. So you don't just give up. You have to just keep going through. And so she got that experience. And so we just said, worst case scenario, she doesn't sell a single book, which is fine, because we have organizations we would love to donate the books to. But so far, we've been surprised that people have responded so favorably. Within day 3 of her Amazon book launch, she was on Amazon's bestseller list in 10 different categories. She was number 1. And she has still maintained that after 2 weeks as a Kindle, through the Kindle, not the paperback, but the Kindle, still at number 1 in multiple categories. So I don't know how that even works out completely. I don't understand all the logistics of it, but we're just excited.
It's really hard to believe that it's in that many categories. How many people know?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I love this story, and I'm thinking for those listening, gosh, this is one to have your kids listening with you if you're in the car. Sometimes on commutes, I know I listen to certain podcasts with my kids, or some I don't. But Abigail, I love the story from both of your angles. Elizabeth, what it took, I got this sense of like, really our work is to usher in our children in their passions, and whatever that looks like, and to leave that space for creativity, for expression, for and whatever unique for you way that expresses itself. And with you, Abigail, I love the fact, I think it's so fantastic, that you went up to this author and that you had the books in hand, that you decided to do this, and at a young age, most would say, you really got what it's like to have a goal and have obstacles, which, by the way, it happens often in life, which great to learn that now. And part of the reason I was just so inspired by you, this is something that I don't care what age you're at, setting that goal for whatever it is that you want to do based out of your passion, because it's very clear you love writing. It sounds like that's the way that you express yourself. Right? And you've loved it since you were little. And so I'm thinking, for those listening in, think about, what did you love when you were little? What are things that maybe you could start doing now? Like Abigail, maybe it was writing, right? Maybe it was dancing. I know you have dance soon. Maybe it was, gardening or whatever it was, tapping into that and then finding ways to express that, whether it's a goal like writing a book or maybe adding it to your life. And I love that you did that and took the initiative and went through 24 drafts. I highly recommend it. Just my own experience of your book. I mean, I had to like pinch myself and ask, like, are you sure she's 9? Like, what? This could have been written by an adult. Like, it was really, really beautifully and powerfully done.
Thank you. I could not have done it without my mom there to help me figure out words on her phone. That would
That's
come
awesome.
up with the rhymes. I had to come up with the words, and then
Yeah.
she would help me. She would look up rhyming words on her phone that would rhyme with it, and then we would come up with little poems. That made it much easier because
Yeah.
I would be like, I can't think of anything that rhymes with this word.
Right.
And when she looked on her phone, then I would see words that I hadn't thought of, and they would go really well with it.
Do you want to talk about your illustrations too?
Yes.
I love to illustrate also. Writing and
Are
illustrating.
they yours in the book?
Yes, I do.
All of the illustrations are yours.
Yes, everything except for the front cover and those pictures in the back of the book. And
These are photographs. So just the cover, and then the photographs, of course, are photographs.
Yeah.
then,
Can you show us some of the, like, for those that are watching, or if we do little videos?
Illustrations.
I didn't draw this either.
That's
This
just
is
Okay. Yeah.
the,
That makes sense to me.
this thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did not draw that.
But all the
Right.
illustrations are with colored pencils and some markers. So you want to show
Yeah.
them?
See,
This
yeah.
is one of my favorite ones.
Oh, I love that. Time for bed. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love that you did that yourself. That is fantastic.
And you want to show, so something that's unique about her book, for those of you that haven't seen it, is that she's very inclusive. And so what makes her book so special is that
Yeah.
she represents people even with disabilities
Oh,
and
I
different
would-
nationalities. Do you want to tell
Oh,
me?
wow.
Tell them. I'm gonna tell them. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. There's a
Oh, there's Alexa is in the background.
super
Okay,
cute.
tell her what happened with this story.
Okay, in this story, there is a girl. Do you see this girl right here? She
Yeah.
is in a
Yeah.
wheelchair,
There's a wheelchair.
and she has these little braids on the side. I did not draw the details for the braids, so I just drew lines. And then there's a little pink at the end. Well, I met a girl when we were volunteering for Kids Matter to help kids choose clothes for the winter.
Mm.
And when we were doing that, I saw a girl, and she was in a wheelchair, and she had these exact same braids, the
Mm.
exact same color of skin, and she had a little pink at the end of her braids. And I said, Mom, look, there's a girl who's in my book. She's right here on this page. And then she said, oh, it looks just like her. And then we went to her. She was in that line of kids who,
The needy kids.
yeah, the needy kids, those. And we got a picture together. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so if you go on Amazon, you'll actually see it. So like Abigail said, what happened was while we were on the volunteer line, she looked in the other line where there were families that were there to be helped. And she said, Mom, that girl over there is in my book. And so she had just printed the proof. She had never met her before, but she had drawn her.
Wow.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
There
She
was
never
even
met-
pink at
Yes.
the end.
Oh, this is before you'd even seen her?
Yes.
No.
Yes, she had never met her before.
Oh my God, I got chills. Oh, wow.
And so she comes
Crazy.
up to her and she says, guess what? I just published a book and you're in it. I drew you in it and do you know you're super? And so this girl was in complete shock because she's in this book more than once and Abigail drew her and had never met her before.
Oh
She's
my God.
even in a wheelchair.
And she was in the same black wheelchair with braids in pink.
Woo, I got chills, my whole body.
And it's
Yeah.
so, and so
It's
there are
weird.
countless stories. There's another
It's
little
crazy.
girl in here with a partial arm who dances with her younger sister. And so Abigail showed it to her, or actually her mom showed it to her, and the girl literally started crying because she runs around at home. She said, you don't know this, But my little girl runs around at home with a cape, saying that she's a superhero. And so now she sees herself in a book, and she had never met Abigail before either. And so it's really has inspired people regardless of race or background.
She's in 2 pictures.
Yeah.
One of them, I drew someone twice.
Yeah. She's in a couple of pictures.
Do this one. You can see her whole body. See?
Yeah, so she has part of an
her
arm.
partial arm. Wait, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's in a cape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she has people in wheelchairs and crutches, braces, no hair, lots of hair, curly hair.
Wait,
right, everything. Oh, I love
and
that.
there's the other one. She's right there.
Oh, wow. So for those listening, what's happening is Abigail's showing us her book, and you said one of the pictures you had already drawn one of the girls without ever meeting her, and then went to an event where you were helping out, and there she was. You drew her before you'd met her, and that is wild. Yeah. And I love that you have all the spectrum of different people from different backgrounds and races and nationalities and experiences and genders. Like you said it, like very inclusive. And the truth is, what I got from you and from your book is how to be a super kid. It doesn't matter where the heck you're from. You can be anywhere in the world, any age.
Who cares? You can be a super kid.
I could be a super kid. Well,
grown-ups can be super kids.
Who's your oldest super kid?
94.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. 94.
Yes, he was a super kid.
She's a widow. Her husband died, but she wanted a yellow mask. So I had a launch party or pre-launch party. It was 2 days before the actual launch, or 3 days. Yeah, 3 days before the actual launch when my book was going to go on Amazon. And there we had a bunch of masks that kids could choose from. There were so many different colors. There was pink and blue and brown and black and orange and green. There were so many.
And then speaking of, because you could be anywhere around the world, we are talking to people who want to get this book internationally in different languages. And so we have people, so the lady who's the mom of the girl with the partial arm, she wants to get it to Uganda. We have friends in Kenya and the Philippines. We have some translators that we would like to get it to those orphanages and to those villages that may need it, and to inspire them to be that super kid regardless of that background. And so it's been kind of crazy, just the opportunities where people said, I want hundreds of these. Like I need to get this out for this trip that I'm going out to. Because it has spoken to so many people at different levels. Every time you look at it, you could go deeper. Yeah. Which is unique.
That is so fantastic. Abigail, at the ripe age of 10, I see a bright, super amazing future for you. And truly, I think the world is calling for this. Other children are looking for this, and good for you for taking the initiative. I can't do all the acronym right now, but you definitely the unique and the perseverance and the determined and the amazingness. And what was the S again? S is
self-control.
Self-control. Okay. What did you say?
That one's probably the hardest one for most kids.
Right. Self-control. Exactly. That's a good one to teach.
If there are any kids out there who want to be super kids, self-control is the hardest one for me, and it's probably the hardest for some other kids out there. But it doesn't have to be the hardest.
It can be hard for adults too, right? Like there's a whole range of that area. Absolutely. That's really, I love what you're teaching, and it's such a joy and pleasure to have you here. And I'm going to make sure that it's very clear. You have a website, right? You have a website. Can you share the website and where people can get your book?
Sure. So on the website,
do you know the address? Do you remember? howtobeasuperkid.com?
Yes, howtobeasuperkid.com.
Yeah. And then you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble. She has a book signing at Barnes & Noble this weekend.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday in Dallas?
Yes.
Yes, and tomorrow is Wednesday, right?
Yes.
I'm going to the South Lake Public Library for a book signing. Wait, no.
It's a program. She's going to do a Super Kid program.
Nice.
Kids how to be super kids.
Yeah.
So she has a special program.
The signing it's on Sunday.
Yeah.
And on Saturday
They do share holiday fair.
Yep, I get to tell it.
The whole reason why she published this book was for this little kids holiday fair, which is this Saturday.
Wow.
And what happened was we bought it for the holiday fair, but then we sold out. So when we had to buy even more books because we had other events coming up so that she could deliver for that holiday fair.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started.
Should I pre-sign them?
Yeah.
I had to sign 201 night for the pre-launch.
Oh my God.
Thursday night.
Girl, you're just getting started. The world is calling for you because we need more super kids. And this is such a great, I know we're all connected and friendly with Hal Elrod as well, who's been on the show. And, I love his the Miracle Morning, the savers and the routines. This has a similar quality. It helps people, right, to really tap into their best self. And this starts, I've thought about this a lot. I have kids too. A lot of people listening have children or around children. And this is a great way to start those practices now. So I think it has a similar feel to me. Really, it's needed, really needed.
You want to tell her about your Super Kid mission for this month and what your challenge is?
Yeah, so let's hear the Super Kid mission.
Oh, we're doing the Super Kid mission.
Challenge, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the challenge. The affirmations one. At first I thought you were talking about the 500 books.
No, tell her about what's the Super Kid challenge for the month that you shared at this. So she has a Super Kid minute at school that she gets to do once a month, and she's challenging the students at her school, digging deeper into each of her scoops. And so this month was scoop number 1.
Let's get started with the fun. Oh no,
that's okay. You can share. That's okay. Tell her what it is and what the challenge is, because we could challenge all the readers or the listeners.
Yeah.
What's the challenge? Yeah.
So this can be for kids and adults, either one of you guys who is listening or watching.
Okay.
So, scoop number 1. Let's get started with the fun. Every super kid has a super routine, so it helps your heart stay pure and clean. That is another one of the ones. So, anyway,
what's the challenge?
As part of my super kid routine, I say affirmations. If you don't know what affirmations are positive truths about yourself that make you feel good or inspire you to be the best you can be. For example, maybe you could say, I am confident, or I am kind, or maybe I'm victorious. They make you feel good about yourself, and they inspire you to be the best you can be. So my challenge for all the listeners, or the people who are watching out there, is to write down at least 5 affirmations, at least 5, and you could do more. And then you should say them. I challenge you to say them every morning if you go to school, while you get ready for school, or maybe when you're having breakfast, you can say them, or you can say them in your head, or while you're getting dressed or you're getting ready for the day. You can say them sometime in the morning, because if you say them at night, that doesn't really do anything because the day's already over. Or if you say it in the middle of the day, the first part of your day didn't do anything. So it's good to say them in the morning, because it helps you get ready for the rest of your day, because the rest of your day will likely be better, and you will feel more confident. You'll feel better about yourself. So then after that, if you want to go further, if some super kids that like to go above and beyond, you guys, I challenge you to ask at least 2 or 3 other friends to do the same. At least 2 or 3.
And record it, right? They have to record it.
And record it and post it on howtobeasuperkid.com.
Or on Facebook.
Yeah, or on Facebook. And you can do that, and then challenge at least 3 other friends to do the same. Tell them that you should say, Do you know this book called How to Be a Super Kid? There, the author is challenging us to tell 3 other friends to do the same thing as us, and we are writing down 5 affirmations and saying them every day. So I challenge you to do the same. And maybe if you want to spread the word further for more super kids out there to have good days, you could even tell them, or you could challenge them to tell 3 other friends to do the same. So it could start to spread, and then they could challenge their friends.
More.
Yeah, so more and more super kids out there that are starting to grow, because right now some people don't know don't know what it's like. So they want to know how they can do it. Or maybe some people are wondering how they do affirmations. So you could write down just 5 of them and say them every morning while you get ready for school. And then they could do that. So then the word could spread. And then super kids will start to come. Super kids will start to form. They're like seeds, and then they're coming.
I love it, Abigail. I love your challenge. I love this about creating affirmations and then challenging your friends to do it. This, by the way, everyone listening, for your children, for you, affirmations are so, so powerful. And I love that you're spreading the positivity. Before we wrap up, I'm going to I know we have the highlight of the principles in your book, and I'm just going to review them for anybody who's tuning in to get a sense, because I know you have 12 of them, right? You have the importance of establishing a morning routine, discovering and developing innate super kid powers and talents, anti-bullying, learning to see the world through the right perspective. I love that. Being the best you can be by not comparing yourself with others. That's a big one we all need as we grow.
Give it your best. Give it your best, and don't compare with the rest, because I wrote a book and there might be some other kids who love to write, but it wouldn't be nice of me to compare with everyone else and brag that I wrote a book and they didn't, because all other writers, if you want to be a writer when you grow up, or if you're a kid and you want to be a writer now, you can write a book now. It doesn't matter what other people say. You should just remember, always give it your best, but don't compare with the rest, because then
that's great.
Other kids will feel like you are just doing it because you want to seem better or something. So it's always good to not compare with the rest, but you have to give it your best. Well, you have to give it your best, but you have to never compare with the rest.
Yeah.
So your best. Don't try to do anything.
Yes, that's great.
Your best, but don't
compare with the rest. That's what I would call a drop the mic moment, meaning there is no more I could add to that. That is so perfectly said. Do your best. Do not compare with the rest. It's so beautifully said. And I'll have the rest of the principles. I'll have it all up on our show notes. And of course, it's all in the book. But I got to tell you, you are such a powerhouse. You are such a super kid. And I love the idea that you can be 94 or 10 or somewhere in between. And anybody can be a super kid, a super person. I love, love, love your principles. I really do, and I believe in them. And I recommend your book. Anyone listening, this is not just for children, honestly. It's a great gift. I'm going to be getting these as gifts for my kids for any parent that's listening that knows me, your kid will be getting this as a gift, because I'm always looking for. I have a friend who also did with Hal, Brianna and Hal did the affirmations, Miracle Morning Affirmations book. It's another great one for drawing. This book, though, I tell you, I think that these principles and the ways of being is what is needed and called for in this world. And it starts with everyone, especially as you're growing up from age 2, 3, 4 on. And I love what you did. I love what you covered. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you for being an inspiration to everyone. It shows what's possible. And I love what you said. Anyone listening that wants to write a book, do not compare yourself to Abigail. Do not compare yourself to anybody. But if you do want to write it, do it. Why not?
Yeah, do it. Why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Yeah. Why would you not? So if someone says you can't do it, well, there's no rule about not writing a book when you're young. There's no rule. There's no law, and there's no one saying you are not allowed to write a book until you are a grown up. You have to be at least 18 or older or something like that. There is no rule, so why not?
Yeah, any age.
If you want to be a writer when you grow up, why not do it now?
Yeah. No, I love your wisdom. You are a superstar, girl. And Elizabeth, obviously the apple does not fall far from the tree. So superstar mom, woman, ladies, you guys rock. I am so honored to be here to share you and your wisdom. And we'll have all the links and information in the show notes. And I just thank you for being a super kid and showing what's possible, Abigail, and for your support, Elizabeth. I know that, it does take a village. So
it does. She didn't do it alone. So that's for sure. That's the other advice I have is that, seek mentors for yourself and for your kids because they are invaluable.
That's so true. Love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast.
So much fun.
Oh, yay. Mwah.